The room fell silent the moment she switched languages. Seconds earlier, laughter flowed easily across polished marble floors, English sentences bouncing between expensive glasses and confident smiles. But when Maria entered carrying a tray, the tone changed instantly. Words softened, sentences shifted, and Tagalog replaced English without anyone announcing it. No one reacted outwardly, yet everyone understood the invisible rule. That silent switch revealed more than simple politeness. It exposed something deeper, hiding beneath everyday interactions. For Sofia, a journalist invited into elite Filipino circles, the moment felt like watching a secret code unfold in real time. Why did language change depending on who walked into the room? Was it respect, convenience, habit, or something more connected to class and identity? She sensed she had just witnessed a social structure operating quietly beneath the surface, shaping relationships without needing explanation. As she continued, observing conversations throughout the evening, she realized language was acting like a social signal, revealing status, belonging, and power without anyone openly discussing it. Sofia had arrived in Manila expecting vibrant culture and layered history, but she had not anticipated how language itself would become the most revealing lens into society. English dominated business meetings, private schools, and high-end social gatherings, spoken with ease by those who moved comfortably through global networks. Tagalog and other Filipino languages filled markets, homes, and informal spaces with warmth and emotional nuance. At first, the difference seemed practical. Multilingual societies often shift languages naturally. But the more she watched, the more she noticed subtle changes in posture, tone, and authority, accompanying each language switch. English sounded sharper, more formal, sometimes creating emotional distance, while Tagalog felt more personal, yet could also carry layers of hierarchy depending on context. Conversations felt like performances where language choice subtly communicated social positioning before anyone introduced themselves. The pattern repeated too consistently to ignore, suggesting that language functioned as more than communication. It became an indicator of identity and social alignment. Curious, Sofia asked Adrian, her wealthy host, why he switched languages so effortlessly depending on who he spoke to. He laughed and described Filipinos as naturally multilingual, suggesting it was simply cultural flexibility. Yet his answer felt incomplete. Later, another guest explained quietly that English carried historical associations with education, prestige, and opportunity. Speaking English signaled access to elite schooling, international exposure, and economic privilege. Many people grew up immersed in English through academic environments, shaping their thinking patterns and social networks. Sofia realized language choices could unconsciously reinforce boundaries, signaling who belonged to certain circles. Even humor changed depending on language, reflecting different emotional layers of identity. She wondered whether speakers consciously recognized these shifts, or if they had become so normalized that no one questioned them anymore. As she interviewed professionals across Manila, Sofia discovered that language functioned like clothing. People changed depending on social settings. Lawyers described English as essential for professional credibility, while Tagalog expressed emotional authenticity and cultural grounding. Some employees admitted feeling intimidated when addressed exclusively in English, interpreting it as distance or authority, while others viewed English as empowering, allowing them to participate in global conversations. Language carried symbolic meaning, shaped by history and social expectation. Sofia began seeing conversations not just as exchanges of words, but as performances revealing invisible structures guiding behavior. During a visit to a prestigious private school, she watched children shift seamlessly between English and Filipino languages. Teachers encouraged English during academic discussions, associating it with intellectual achievement and global relevance. Outside class, students joked in Tagalog, their voices animated and relaxed. One student admitted that fluent English often led others to assume wealth or privilege. Some exaggerated accents to appear elite, while others softened their speech to avoid seeming arrogant. Language influenced social grouping early in life, shaping identity long before adulthood. Sophia realized hierarchy reproduced itself quietly through everyday interactions rather than explicit enforcement. Later, she met Maria, the housemaid, whose entrance at the dinner party sparked her investigation. Maria explained she understood English perfectly, but preferred Tagalog because it felt more natural. When employers spoke English to her, she felt a professional barrier forming, reinforcing the employer-employee dynamic. Tagalog conversations felt warmer, yet still hierarchical, depending on tone. Language shaped emotional positioning, who felt powerful and who felt subordinate. Sophia recognized that language hierarchy was complex, influenced by history, education, and personal experience. Academic experts traced linguistic dynamics to historical influences that elevated certain languages through education systems linked to global power structures. English became associated with upward mobility and modernity, while Filipino languages preserved cultural identity and emotional depth. This duality created tension between progress and heritage, shaping how individuals navigated their identities. Code switching allowed Filipinos to shift roles instantly, reflecting adaptability, but also reinforcing expectations about where each language belonged. At a business conference, English structured formal presentations, projecting professionalism and authority. During breaks, Tagalog returned, softening interactions and creating familiarity. Language separated public identity from private self, giving multilingual individuals flexibility to move across social worlds. Sophia realized fluency became social capital, enabling individuals to navigate hierarchy smoothly. Over time, Sophia noticed how language shaped inclusion and exclusion without explicit intention. When conversations happened in English, she felt included. When Tagalog dominated, she felt like an outsider. This personal experience revealed how language could create invisible boundaries. Social hierarchy often emerged from habit rather than deliberate exclusion. During a family gathering outside Manila, Adrian spoke almost entirely in Tagalog, revealing a different side of his identity. Without the formality of English, he appeared more relaxed, showing how language allowed individuals to shift personas depending on context. Sophia understood that language didn't just reveal hierarchy, it allowed people to navigate multiple identities simultaneously. Sociologists described language as a social signal communicating education, community belonging, and cultural alignment. Online discussions among Filipinos revealed mixed feelings: pride in bilingualism, frustration about class divisions, and debates about authenticity. Language became a symbol reflecting broader social issues such as access to education and opportunity. In a call center, employees switched effortlessly between professional English accents for international clients and relaxed Tagalog during breaks. They described English mastery as economic opportunity, but also emotional labor. Code switching became survival, enabling them to navigate expectations across different environments. Younger Filipinos increasingly blended languages, creating hybrid speech patterns that blurred traditional hierarchy signals. Yet subtle markers remained, including accent and vocabulary influencing perception of intelligence or background. Sophia realized linguistic hierarchy evolved continuously rather than remaining fixed. A professor explained that language often revealed inequality rather than creating it. English fluency typically reflected educational access tied to economic resources. Recognizing this shifted Sophia's perspective. Language acted like a mirror, reflecting deeper structural realities. Through conversations with Maria and others, Sophia saw how language influenced confidence depending on environment. In rural communities, local languages fostered belonging. In urban elite settings, English often dominated. Rapid language switching during social events resembled choreography aligning individuals with social expectations. Critics argued linguistic hierarchy reinforced class divisions, while supporters saw bilingualism as a strength enabling global engagement. University debates highlighted tension between preserving cultural identity and embracing international opportunities. Sophia concluded language itself wasn't oppressive. Societal meanings attached to language created hierarchy. Moments of intentional inclusivity showed how language could bridge divides rather than reinforce them. Gradually, she understood that linguistic hierarchy reflected broader dynamics involving history, education, economics, and identity. The turning point came when Adrian addressed Maria in English while discussing her ambitions, speaking with genuine respect. The shift changed the atmosphere, revealing how language choices could reshape relationships when used consciously. On her final day in Manila, Sophia reflected on everything she had learned. Language revealed hierarchy not because words inherently held power, but because society invested them with meaning. Filipino linguistic culture demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and complexity, showing how identity evolved while preserving roots. Language could signal division, but it also held the potential to create connection when used with awareness and empathy. And as she prepared to leave, she realized the true story wasn't about English versus Tagalog, but about how humans use language to define belonging and navigate power. If this is your first time watching stories like this, consider subscribing so you don't miss future deep explorations into culture, identity, and the hidden social codes shaping our world.